Anyway.
Enti Dr. Peter Buama Otokunor doka kwa be saying
Major also Obi.
Bibia yeboko.
Adom Arakwa. Nyankopon Adom what the President Mahama Adom o man Ghana. Na ohwe the way our man e ko na. Obia say Obia say.
Office of the President yeboko.
Boko pa Mampeni and we papa wo bo adwuma na cabinet wo hono
oh and okay and a Thursday yes in role specifically in that office then
yo ni edi kan me to president for agric kwayon sem ho and me san lead the presidential initiatives in agric and agribusiness. Into the Medjumane say, me coordinate special interest areas across agriculture and agribusiness. So, from trade, agribusiness, industry, Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Fisheries, Aquaculture, I coordinate specific interest areas. So,
it's not just a way
various initiatives.
Initiatives are in free ministry or free presidents and
about. Me coordinate
but this role conflict with ministers, no?
Oh, Sabio say when you own conflict with anybody. So far it's been an exceedingly enormous effort to bring food security. And now here aduane abu. Obi a boku afo abaso. Obi a bo kwan a aduane abu, kusu abu, enam abu, body abu, banchi abu, eburu abu, rice abu, kuafo no kra twa adwadwo se wo munya ba bi mfangu, wo munya ba bi nton no. Ni nyina because of the way we have handled agriculture. Into no hwa. This is the first time in the history of this country a president has devolved the work of agriculture. And say what chichemu said ye be more efficient. Into we first on the Ministry of Food and Agriculture pe. Na say mo ne be fisheries ni aquaculture to nchen. And Ministry of Food and Agriculture and Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture. But the critical aspect of the business of agriculture, not yen set down focus here because of where it was locked. This is here no trade, agribusiness. And so there are 3 different ministries for the first time dealing with agric, plus the units at the presidency that deals with these special interest areas. And you know, that's why you are seeing all the results. And there's so much. But this is just 1 year. If you back up and so if you look at the things and the measures I had you go na obi my few years
fear back up no say aduane abu body abu bayre abu hwan abu can it be a result of adia
exactly a direct results. You see ade back we okuayo mu ni say hunsunsuanso na nche na apie.
Okay.
Because enkankani aduane most of the food crops are enabu no 3 months na so no wetwa say 1 to 2 year within 3 months your results would be exposed. Me kai ebra na ye ba ya me ye interview no busam say entinyama wo kan nyina mo ye dabe ne be hu results and am say twen na season no endru ne ntwam because udua ade na wo ye dan a ko esenyin wonti fancy beba it will be a case or agriculture policy or born homodia a hwe aduane ebo hwe aduane ebu se aduane bua na obon homodin se aduane embu na aduane bo odin a na chese wonye hwe match I do about nothing
na sa nioma no mudua na time ben
na aduane a ye di ewo Ghana sisi a ewo dwaso sisi a free in fact free last year November in fact free from October aduane bi ewo dwaso bia no ye dua no 2025 aduane bia eji se bia kube cocoa abe
palm oil
those ones edi be 3 years and also so no wo hwa no na ene aye buachi bidin na aye ka ho asem ene enu nti na mabahai you understand when the investment is put in there you see the results mamin ka se min kire wo cocoa between 2015 and 2016 adwen say ye pese ye rehabilitate cocoa no bebre na ahye after mobilization the aggressive push I did cocoa no na ye share that nye be significant. It between 2015 and 2016 ye 20 million cocoa seedlings and ye chiche ye rehabilitate aggressive rehabilitation into be cocoa output na say between 2020 2021 hono ye shoot to cover 1 million. It was because sa cocoa na edua in 2016 no na aso. After that no say I drop it So the performance of the government will tell you whether the production will continue to increase or it will fall. Because a agronomic management. So when you agronomic management in here, the cocoa tree without wealth or it will underperform. That's what you see. And so the results is what we are seeing. According to 2024, say in 433 something metric tons, but actual fact we got 360,000 metric tons. Trend and my yes so to 333 metric tons na yentimi because cocoa no is underperforming. And so when you don't put your policies well, particularly say eduaba no weduana enyi awia afibia effort a wodi be hyemu no na be kire ne so e be so sa eduaba na tree crops no sa na tie but eduaba na ye twa no 3 months eno de wodi afudie no gu form a bo so memiensa na so no watwa eno no wodi policy ni gu form a obi e be hu immediately and se mere wo ho anka me kone nti a eniema ye de gu akwam nti a yenya sa results eno na me ba ho no and before say be ba cocoa no and in your office presidential initiative be na wa drive. Okay, so first of all ma minka the reason why eduane ni bu ye because ya share say friends I will miss the law. Okay. Kuani bia ne ma kuani ni nya onkeka se obedo ana se obetre na hie mu eye afudie no ebo ye wone ma miensa a kuayofo ana se ye kuayo nsem no ye hwe ye frɛ no input availability se afudie no ubenya bi yes and no ye one major problem. Yes. Input affordability se afudie no eye fo na obetimi ato ana obeto dodo ebeso wa afuo ena input quality se afudie no kra po no se unya eye papa a wodi gu fom a ubenya sansusu anso na ohia no sa niema we eye niema aban bia ehwe a ema aduane bu eti no se ohwe a afi atwa mu no ye adwen se ye behwe macroeconomic situation no any forex no me masters am ye before am koye me PhD me thesis am ye no me sua me analyzing your friend exchange rate pass through to import prices. Your friend be pass through effect. Say forex no and I said dollar no e peje no mu a he and the pass ember prices. Ghana your pass through effect no is almost more than 1.1 or 1.2. Not just as a dollar ne kosoro ba ko a etimi pushi aduane ne bo ma ne kosoro be say ba ko ne fa. So what you say? It is a bambia what tea adwuma na se a wonim de pa nim kwan a wo betimi control sector. And first of all, you control the forex market. You build your currency. Say there be a currency ni be gina ne na so. Because Ghana ye input afudi a ye de adwuma nyina no ye di fra amanone. Yes. Glyphosate amanone, fertilizer NPK amanone, urea amanone, calcium sulfate amanone. Etino input ni nyina even klante. And I know brand new preparation for 2024 adai catalyst for any omuhia me kan say adai catalyst and then still mu ye adai catalyst because you see a catalyst in cry and then I'm diversify it. You know, most of the technology that is coming, nobody produces them in Ghana, and so you have to pick dollar. Now they are kwama now they are koto it ye peja no mu be hia see the do now they are koto it does a wintimi ntop and as what to abema ne boa yedin ana me boa. So Osha President Mahama any swedi hu what the start here amemui yes you be control currency no, and we have been able to control and stabilize the currency. Currency are now 17 cedi to $1 and then 10 cedi 50 pesos to $1. And so what it significantly does immediately is to reduce the cost of inputs. It's fertilizer now near ton 700 Ghana 2024 no, and then 350 Ghana baby cry 300 Ghana. Glyphosate na near ton 80 Ghana and crap we near shadanya yina and on utimian baby are near 80 Ghana near no dempano no free taking in your money 120 Ghana and that's our glyphosate now 35 Ghana box back we 420 Ghana cedi box back some na box back we 960 Ghana cedis because of what? The strengthening of the currency. It is significantly amount the cost of production has come down because the cost of input has significantly come down. It is a bio se nipa no ne kakra wa okura no timi de do 2 acres and so asase 5 acres and on do 2 acres obedo 5 acres nyina because otimi to and Yamano Dodo because input no abba from significantly. A bra campaign me ba have can cry on some.
Sure.
Obeka me can side we say a buy any sweaty who see a share input a foodie no. Near me foodie na yefo. Na aye available to be able to be able to foodie ni biato. Na yasa so ama a foodie na eba dwama so no. Ebetimi aye papa said ye be ya. Kuani no de ese forma wonim say obenya productive returns. Eno ne yetimi aye na ene ama aduane ebu. Eno koda nchen a. The whole of last year, I buy fertilizer ocheni free.
Fertilizer.
Emre bi atwa mu na aye planting for food and jobs no. No mo run planting for food and jobs. No mo run some input credit scheme. Eno no be call supplier ne ho no akogye na wono aye bill no de akoma aban na aban atua. Eno no kra ha no adverse selection na ewo moral hazard issues na ewo na nya adekoto a. Because me na me de aba na me sini pattern na abeje glyphosate.
Yes.
One why you can say enye no a. So when you ma we nyina we have tried input subsidy da e fairly. You try input credit e fairly. It's what we designed and modeled for our government and at the farmer center is blending the two. So what you say? Say aban be subsidizing input no. Now in some instances or they are free and in some instances credited when the farmer service center are fully operational. Those models are going to be there. It's input in the farmer service center and it's already subsidized. And I'll bet me abeji the accord do fu. Udo we are and yes akoko ton wa betua. Efudie na bi na wo de atua. It me ba initiatives no ho a me kire oba ko bi a ye deploy wo no ma aboa pa yam yetimi ado
because we farmer centers no last year fertilizer no mo chain free
obusa district
for cocoa farmers or for any other farmer?
No, all the farmers obusa oreke boku zana no ba the next time oba no obusa no obusa no oba be ka kire free yedima free obi ani wono ma ye ton aban fertilizer ma no eji say bia ne yedima on anso na obi na wa opese ukoto kakra ka ho eno no ukonso a fofofo enye 700 Ghana biem 300 Ghana nti we endo eti aduane na ebu ni nyina is a factor, is a product of efficient strategy yedu gu form oku ayonsem mu ena ma aduane na ebu no ena mebe obi afre me se owo aburo onye obi amanato ena gentleman ba ko frɛ mo si beans ena atebubu manhene nana Dr. Yabua esiama ebehia me wo office
okay
wo say beans no ebu atebubu am ebi mu kra plow the afra and said a nitrogen fixation. So it is a product of the investment government made in the sector. And our results. And some of the results you will see even in cocoa. This year announced say cocoa, no, you had the free fertilizers in back, and you will see the output. But the output last year is even higher than the outputs in the previous year. Cocoa shasi ebeto edwane so ebe say 650,000 metric tons, but it's even more than that. It's about 700 but 580,000 per na yato no ene ne yede akọ ne yede kosi awa ye sa rollover
yes
na ye tua free mu ne kra no still cocoa nko de $3.9 billion in a bag Ghana last year e been see that in about 10 years the highest we have gotten. Embra yenya 1 million metric tons on $2 billion. You understand? So effective agriculture policy very, very, very important. And you see the results show so quickly. Yes. When you do any policy in agriculture, when it has to do with production, your production policies, your post-production policies, and if we have time, I think say we take you cocoa and some every you see agric Canada all start here. Me here be 3 hours. So but me see a cocoa time no.
And I remind them a message you media because an effective strategy should also take care of storage. In the Nippon say Obi, please ask Dr. Otokunor, how much of food reserve is Ghana holding so that in case of a disaster, how would we survive without food aid from donors? Edwin Ewata.
Okay, so that is a very important question. And yet only storage.
Sure.
Post-production is not only storage.
Okay.
Post-production is harvesting, harvest handling, harvest transportation, harvest storage, and harvest processing. So it's a broad chain. Storage is just an aspect. So you are just storing the raw farm products. So what you are saying, and depending on your strategic policy as a country, which crops you are growing, you develop the storage to suit that. Currently, under a Feed Ghana agenda now, 6 food crops, main food crops. There are more other crops that we are doing also, but those are the target areas to drive growth in those areas. Maize, rice, soya bean, sorghum, tomato. In fact, 7: tomato, onion, and pepper.
Yeah, but what can you na ebu no? None of these were in there.
Oh, maize ebu. Maize the ebu.
7 no maize. Any the in there.
Maize, soya bean ebu.
Soya bean ebu. Ghana ha.
Soya bean na me ton 700 Ghana for my farm. And then me to soya bean 320 Ghana.
320.
Yes. Ebu, in fact, I know Akrobia frame is all about $1,000, and I buy large quantity. I do livestock. I do all animals. Think of it, and now I do it from rabbit to pigs to cattle to poultry, turkey, ducks. I do everything.
Oh, really?
360.
Like
so I do grains commercial. Yeah, commercial. Commercial.
Okay, into what about two out of the 7?
So maize ebu, soya bean ebu, emu ebu, emu ye. Emu ebu. Local rice ebu and sotona
Ghana ha.
Na obi anya wa na nanse you frɛ rice producers here no mu twa adwadwo se omu nya omu mane say
paddy ni go ho omu ntimi process paddy no
na paddy na dan anwa
oh na say enu ebedu ni paddy ubetima di paddy
but yes because emu na bu ni ntino they will not melt because umele the science of it is that umele at that moisture levels na wona by 3 months 4 months 145 be say
yeah,
but science and I say.
So we've not done
that is why everywhere across the world we don't store rice, we store ripe paddy.
Sure.
Very good.
Sure.
Hating rice now paddy na one. So any day that the market needs it because it's in excess, you have to keep it because it's in excess. Say market in here umele ya aba market. Abajama will be a tobidi. And so rice is in excess. In fact, rice is significantly in excess. Now beyond the excess beyond the excess one significant thing that we have to look at, very crucial, is to how to regulate the market. Said even whilst there is excess, it doesn't become injurious to the farmer. Because one regulating market now, particularly as our currency is doing well, also to one more be free for the you understand? And so those are the key issues. I mean, say Ministry of Food and Agric, Trade and Agri Business. Any presidency how to manage the flow of food into the market and even off the market. You understand? And so it's a whole the management of the agric sector no enye Otokunor to send because we suffered with food because of the way they manage it. Now I remember whilst we were crying on top of our voices, say, the way Uncle planting for food. Maybe tell studio I catch you say yes planting for food and jobs, but my document now make share ya investing Yaba power. I wanted to see what they did so that we can know how we can basically Brian Champo document here.
Na Feed Ghana the anyway.
Feed Ghana the anyway. Anano a farmers the omuche ni free when you be the honorable Eric Albania.
Who say Adia Ghana food deeper in toast.
In toast boo in season.
Okay.
Emma, it got to a point in time President had to intervene. Emma Agogo. We had to direct schools and but you see now how to sustain the market means that you must produce off season.
Yes,
is what you are saying. So in season what produce some you have struggled to find a way to get it down. You see processing factories, how to get them processed, but beyond that, supply chain maintenance, supply chain consistency are very key. It is say in grown within season a big problem. It is under the irrigation for wealth project now. Most of the areas I targeting is to grow vegetables throughout the season. And I know Martin said now John Dumelo say we are targeting our 300,000 metric tons off season production. the whole idea is say a smooth travel of production. Said every time no there will be available food, but you must even do that and do more so that you will be able to process. So at here and take advantage of the international market. And so that is the dynamics in agriculture.
No, man, tomatoes free Burkina Ebano. Enra, I think 3 days ago, many of Modin come on say off season, no. Because you need irrigation facilities,
yes,
Papa, no.
It's true.
In the intos
it's true.
It's true. And that is what you should be tackling.
Exactly, that's what we are doing. But you see, the thing about agriculture investment when it comes to agro infrastructure is that it takes time. The policy, and so you handle the low-hanging fruits. And that's what we have been telling the Kufuor's government in the past. Let's handle the low-hanging fruits. Whilst you look at installing in the process, facilities to offtake and process. And to hear your agriculture marketing, and say wakodwaso na wakotonkwa. Agriculture marketing includes processing, agro processing, because the off-taking would go to the factory, then you add more value, then it goes to bigger markets. Because if you don't add more value, you can't access bigger markets, you access restricted markets. And so it's a whole grand program. We have spoken about a feed industry initiative where we are looking at growing industry to absorb the excess. But you have to do the production first. So you deal with production. In fact, you do with pre-production. It is pre-production efficiency and a more efficiency in production. Now more efficiency in post-production. But what you say? And then pre-production efficiency. And I mean, no can was inputs no. So inputs no eba na yefo. Now start producing inputs ni bi kra ha. Me no can say we are working on a number of projects to manufacture fertilizer in Ghana. We are working on a number of projects to do agrochemicals in Ghana. And if these things come on stream, it means that even if there is, in the most unlikely situation, currency fluctuations, you don't suffer. You understand?
But these things are medium to long term. I mean, it may
essentially it must. No, Obi. Essentially, it must be medium to long term because Rome was not built in a day. You understand? But the fact that you are taking the steps and the infrastructure, the project starts, is significant. For example, an honorable Eric. Ekosiisen sword for a processing factory of poultry. It will take time to construct, but when it comes on stream, it will work. And that's what we want from governance. Ghana abatwa yetu nyina ne say. Ubetu abe you obi ase bi owo ni swadi hunu. Na owo pepa. We be piasa ni swadi hunu na ma ni swadi hunu na bam. And that's the results we are seeing.
Across the country say omo trust him message in opposition. Say NPP for manage sector ni momo ba mo be ni ye mo be mo good prices any ade omo gina so to aba ni boom boom e de mamo bo ama da won mama omo nsa esifom afedi omo sika kre wo say ba omo na aban edge e den na obeka che
koko kuani be na kan sa asem
one tier demonstration interviews na ye
sa NPP ni na wa say what this year so say o ye demonstration
no me can farmers na
ana guy na friends and Poliando said the demonstration
enya Poliando
eti ni sisi emu ni na okay because for is meet you omo da president Mahama say what two na mo pese kokoo no e sector ni begu eti ni emu ni oh yes
sika na aba form no
ana wo de ofo no so sa videos na bi mba so
o sika na aba form no
me say ofo no sa videos ni bi mba so dia
o se ni pan so da
president Mahama say se wetu anamon a ebeboa amakoko sector netimi agina na collapse se ufo no bi mba so de a ebi efri ufo no
two things now
ebi efri ufo no
president Mahama announce ni oma bebre
ufo na ye China na say ye den because se won say video na anye na efri ufo no
president Mahama announce ni oma bebre including the cut in price no apart from cut in price no or announce bill or they call parliament say yen lucky in 70% no or announce local production of cocoa into all those other things or and no more than as one and I say buona ya test then me pese me hu
video no
I've seen those videos.
Well, very good. Yes. I just want to confirm one video. So those are what I have seen. But near I can't dear poyando money abajemo dear no moye no money namne dear. They have no iota of idea of what cocoa farming is. One won't tell us here crack. Sabio miracle any poyando or cocoa farmers. Mako 3 years obi say mo na mo champion mako say bi okokofo nim nyansa koko akuafo mo nim nyansa say mo mbeka o masem. The fact of the matter is that sebio wontimi nya ho anu mako kone enko esuo na tifi nko hono no aba na akwa bebuza say wan na yeye na wo kosam hwe obi ananu a mi hu say kodwo opon kroma edi press conference ani mo okoko ayi no I was in Gumi. Me who dream me. I was waxed. You can't say waxed out here. I was shocked to the core. Because senka bobi be ka koko asema e wo mamu ha nkanya NPP for. And I know papa penny mu bi pa me fere ne pa na ohia me no say enti no se bio Ghana. Ye ni wuade ana. E ba ne sen na NPP for ka koko asem. Adenti na NPP for ntimi nka koko asem. E yetiawa. Okay. Ene koko sector atitia pansam ama ye yield akofo ma ye ntimi ntwa koko kura biem ye NPP for. Eden na ama koko no akofom ma kire ni edikan afudi abu ahede afudi anajo Muhammad ma akuafo free fertilizer free spraying free wa be yi ni nyina afio wo be yi free won so a ebu anka ese wodi ma koko farmer no wan farmer no wonim say the first 4 years of President Akufo-Addo want to koko so one Ghana kra one Ghana 2020 ni twa adwo free 2021 no mo de free 600 and the core 600 and the core 800 and no to ya because of the depreciation of the cedi no and the core ya could do 3,100 now unim near wom no kure wom ni say at the time na NPP for 2,800 3,000 and 3,100 no na sa amre no koko dwaman so ye ton no aboarding and come betimi atua 3 times of the values that they were paying. And go and look at the numbers very well. Time ana President Akufo-Addo took cocoa so eco do 3,100 no. Cocoa no na eda be say 7,800. Yes. E peja no mu ko 8,000. E ko 9,000. E ko 10,000. E ko 12,000. So ko dwama so na ko to cocoa e niam mienu e na tools mienu instruments mienu na use. You want your friend futures market and your friend spot market. Spot market and say wafa cocoa na to a battery literally. Now they are called Jamanso. Now see me crab cocoa a henny year ton with Jamanso no aton. And a futures market and they say when you sikana advance now kwa sign contract aji hu sikano now a supply no later. Yes. Now futures market airton at $12,000. Now spot price near ton bears at $10,000. Now President Akufo-Addo makuya no 3,100 Ghana cedi. Now only mathematics a womb. Samre no na dollar no 16 cedis. Dollar ni 16 cedis. Yes. Now 16 cedis no yan fa ne say e bra spot price ne kra $10,000 no ton 16 cedis a cocoa 1 ton e be 160,000 Ghana cedi. Tete 1.6 billion OCDs. Se o ka se ubuafu ubetua cocoa farmer not sese de John Mahama etua ni sisi ya no na be man 70%. 70% of 160,000 ya. 70% of 160,000 ya. And you almost 90,000 Ghana cedi. 1 ton bia cocoa botono edunsia ene wom. Divide 90,000 by edunsia my enko school kakra ne enye maasi bi wa ha. U divide 90,000 by 16 ubenya 90,000 divided by 16 ubenya 5,625 and 25. Samre no na President Akufo-Addo eton cocoa no 3,000 in fact na 2,800 and ye kasa ya and odi bi beka ho and about 3,000 and a call 3,100. Sa 3,100 no actually constitute 25% of the FOB price. Metro article be on the May 2024 analyzing why the cocoa sector was dying, why the yields were going down. Now at that time no not 2023 now yield now babes 430,000. Before the following 450,000. Before the following year I anticipated say a beco from even further because we are not motivating the farmer enough. The farmer, man, 3,100, which is only 25%. So that was the time. Sorry, when this years no. Ebra near what Bemuno. Near Bomber said
25% of saying
of the FOB international price.
What was the FOB?
The international much 160,000.
Based on then Oma Unyasa one.
Oh, and I may say,
is it the official FOB Cocoa Board announced?
No, and the FOB, you see, the FOB price that they announced at the time. In fact, that was available because your terminal price, I mean, and your terminal price, and on a Cocoa Board announced. But the international price, no, no international cocoa exchange, and they announced. So international, so no, yes, so we are saying that the best pricing index should be the international price. It's when we are doing pricing in Ghana, CCR currently we use FOB. So FOB,
the gross FOB or the net FOB?
May patch on whether gross or net.
Very important. You know it's important.
Whether gross or net, it is inconsequential.
Why?
On the international cocoa exchange, they don't determine net. They determine gross. It's
which one do we use in
Ghana?
They determine gross, but which one do we use in Ghana?
To do what?
To get what we pay to the farmer.
I am doing analysis and choosing what I'm using. Also, which one do we use in Ghana? If we are one FOB price,
which is the gross FOB,
and not terminal price now.
Before we determine what we give to the price, you see cocoa industry cost.
And terminal price. And you friend the net and I make terminal price. And no be calculate you a haulage movement.
So in the Ghana you use terminal price.
Oh, probably no.
Said you who can use our
idea who pan so be our question idea half. No really say when my dear no. It's to
what bomb your baby? Me say Ghana you use the terminal price, right?
Obi to bonami chire was here me chire wo now ma me analysis na obeben me sorry akono wa cocoa expert.
Me say
what you here?
Once we agree say terminal you use
yes say international FOB price ah ye dey announce na no ya woda.
Yes.
Ye use we no. And then your net, the 4,200 that we use was the gross international price.
And
what we have used, what we have used to do our analysis in opposition were all international FOB price.
Okay.
The terminal prices, they are used for internal purposes to measure your margins. Because you include the LBC's margins, you include the all those things are there. But those margins must fall within near Ebeka farmers in the free ma. We 70% in free ma. Near Ebeka no. Those margins come in between them. So they are
because of something.
So it is inconsequential for anybody to whether ask you or use net FOB price or whatever it is, terminal price or whatever. It is inconsequential because may analysis about what the Kuyani is getting. And you are telling me say the margins that goes in should be
question. The last time many Fifi Boafo din komo. Fifi said what Ghana was using now the net FOB. And no determined.
And net FOB no. Was not, in fact, they were not even using net FOB. They were using their contract values.
Okay, that's fine. It was no more using net FOB. When Honorable Brian Achampon took over as a Greek minister, NRC no. But who used to net of FOB now, you are cheating the farmer. And from the last crop season, and Honorable Brian here said that be omunusu gross FOB. And then we say, and no one am to aso and say, must go back to the net FOB.
One say at the end say one TRC year you get lost and you know like how big the where creative mess be. The reason is very simple. Ebra net FOB now use no. Nobody has issue. In fact, call to gross FOB.
Okay.
Gross FOB is not my concern for the analysis. And I may yet say, even when you use the gross FOB, the farmer was getting 25%. You understand?
Yes.
So whether net or gross is inconsequential now. We are staying on the FOB, gross FOB announced on the International Cocoa Exchange. 4,200 now, you had calculate here at the set price, 2,587 Ghana cedi, Now a FOB price.
But
you understand
whether you use net or gross inconsequential.
No, it is inconsequential for my analysis I'm doing now.
Because if today one man will say Nansanya price I'm announcing mu use gross na it tells me that the more you so net, and the price will be different.
No, you see,
and it will not be inconsequential.
No, it will be inconsequential. You don't use that. In fact, we have moved away from. And I make a choice. Uko ton contract $2,600 per ton. That is your net. That's your
forward.
Yes, work your forward. That's your net. Won't go beyond it. But I'm saying, the argument anyway, analysis you have to peg it to the FOB. The gross FOB announced on the International Cocoa Exchange. You understand?
Yeah.
Now, when you are using net, it means that you can. It's discretional. You can determine your net because then when you go into a forward sales, the value that that's what you will use. Yeah. And so that's why I'm not worrying myself there. It will understand the issues now. And you see, I don't want to obfuscate the issues. Me persecute any TRC, the entire be do sa point with. It's in a me to me boy in mark. And then you go back and forth and you obfuscate issues.
No, it depends when there is a question.
So Obi, so I have said, President Akufo-Addo ni NPP are buying, Bawumia ni NPP are buying in 2024 when cocoa was selling at 10,000, maybe see 10,000, maybe go beyond to 12,000. 10,000. Some no muma cocoa kueni 3,100. Sa 3,100 no constitutes about 25% of the FOB price.
Yeah.
And analysis no. And you can say there be we are cheating the cocoa farmer. It's because analysis ni kasi cocoa farmer no even 70% as we have done in the past. Na again say no baseline no yenko below data. We should be able to give the cocoa farmer 6,500. But President Akufo-Addo no money 2,500. So what it means is 3,100. So it means to say now the cocoa farmer was losing about 3,400. It will be a ultra cocoa in 2024 no.
Yes.
One ton, one bag biano 64 kilos no. We lose you 3,400 Ghana cedi. It will team your cocoa kweni. Multiply 3,400 Ghana cedi by the number of cocoa we produce in 2024. That is how much President Akufo-Addo Bahumia's government stole from you.
Yes. You have come to that conclusion. You have come to that conclusion because who you sue a different FOB from what use?
No, you need different FOB.
Don't
send that confusion. Don't send that confusion.
They used 4,800.
And you go and read my article. You can search for it right now, and you will see the analysis. So you will see there say who used to sell 2,600 now. What call your forward sales now? Who be catch them say who tiabe 70 and 76%. But you are costing the farmer. The farmer is losing. The farmer is losing almost 3,400, which you could have saved for the farmer. And so that's my analysis. Wako ye dubious contract. Ebra one in the beko jaso. One the beko jaso. Now wako akoton adie. Now call ye no drama e dwane so ye ton $10,000. Was me there me here for that Christmas inti. Sebion previous amejiminti me ton 2,600. Who does that?
You are
Sebio we drop adie na akoton abe sa. You are you man say ye wo we drop adie na akoton a obeton sa.
Because Oka say ye educated public. You are the expert. I am not. What do you think about minimum guaranteed price? Because what for 10,000 out the analysis, the 10,000 may have been a flash in the year.
Okay.
But for the average, in the how would the average price play in your analysis now?
No country does minimum guaranteed price with nominal figures. You do it in percentage. O strike a percentage, it was a pine.
Yes.
Fineco, my minimum guarantee price is 70% of the FOB price, and you go according to it. And no government has been religious to this down the President Mahama administration. Last year, Ebra na cocoa no ababedu 7,200. That not dollar no any cedi no 10.25 to the dollar no. And he set your first price 3,225 or so. And he set his our first price. Ebra cedi no epeja no mukakra na ekodu 11.5 and he had 400 back count and the call 3,600. Making sure that we maintain that minimum floor guaranteed price of 70%
of the FOB.
Of the FOB. Now, now between 4th October, I now say 3,600 no. So 30th October, now cocoa no price no drop every 7,200 about 5,800. Ya fire sanka. Sa loss no between 7,200 5,800. How much was lost? Can you do that quick calculation?
Almost 2,000.
Almost 1,400, 1,400, 1,500. Why did you hear? Mete says a gentleman now interview no NPP no. Ka say buying buy no you omo time no omo kusin kuani no. Who kusin that in 1 month? Here I did not drop every 7,200 till last week. Last week now I drop near Kano 4,200. How much loss? $3,000. Maminya analysis been chiro. Between time I announced last one until the time I announcement no ya to cocoa 581,000 metric tons out of the 650 that we targeted. So 581,000 metric tons no we have lost $3,000 of that value. Pick your calculator. Multiply $3,000 by 581,000 metric tons. How much has the government cushioned? How much has the government cushioned?
Yeah, but all the 500,000 were not bought from this because from the start of the season, you know.
But you have said the price. But you have said the price.
Of course.
Yes, sir.
Of course.
And yet 3,625 near tono.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Very good. It's in what the size cano and I thought idea way na it margins be our calculate here no. Was certain at 7,200 and now the calculate here now almost 70%. No. But what you so whatever loss that comes into it, you take care of it.
Yeah, but every government suffers that because there is always price for
main cars will be so far, baby.
Okay.
Will be so far be that.
Okay.
But I'm telling you the quantum of what we have absorbed because of propaganda no more no. Say we are buying kusin on time no mu kusin. Multiply 581,000 by $3,000 and see how much billions of dollars that we are losing in this small time. Now between there now you announce cocoa new cocoa price no. Ebesine you announce at 4,200 and then in 3 days now do 3,600.
Yes.
So even the value now you announce which is the 2,587 no. Which is supposed to be the 90% of the FOB price, gross FOB price. No? Now, I bet do 3,600. In actual fact, in real terms, we are paying the farmer almost 98% of the FOB price.
Because of the current price.
Because of the current price. Whatever cocoa I bet on free last week, you toss our cocoa now, you could go manswa, you be $3,600 per ton. Not just say, margin that's no 4,200 to 3,600 which is almost $600. We have lost all that $600. It's your calculation for fraud. Yeah, estimation mono na nka see 650,000 metric tons of cocoa
this crop season.
And yeah 581,000 every mu ya to no dada. Etu dey fan say kwata aka e be 70,000 metric tons. Multiply 70,000 metric tons by 600.
That will be the gap government has.
That will be the gap. Multiply. A bemo almost $42 million. Now, people, who cushions that? And so it is never true. If anybody tells you, say we are not cushioning. But you see, the reason why it has become very difficult, regrettably difficult, to make this decision at this time. It affects me, Nana, Equiedum, Ewobima. Me wofa kwa minsia obi ma a o kokofo e affect no me ankasa ekikime but you know why we have to take that decision? Because cocoa sector no sikasem no yenuanu mo NPP atetina pansam poto. Look, if we don't take any drastic decision, if you are not careful next cocoa season we can't buy cocoa.
Yeah, but that's where they say you obfuscate the matters when you bring in cocoa board debt.
No!
Pricing of cocoa. Farmers, musica. You can deal with it. Can pay farmers for musica.
Sebio, and I work with the banks. Can I won't try?
Yes.
Okota, the own drink car with the no. What they cut 10 million now? Okota, the 5 million. I won't try.
Yes.
Every year do so. Sometimes we should use our natural, fair.
Yes.
Yes, it is due. Are you aware that last year alone, cocoa bills that were due was almost about 4 point something billion Ghana cedi. Wow, and under domestic debt exchange 2023 cocoa bills of about $10 billion or 10 billion Ghana cedi. They have to restructure for repayment in 2025, 2026, 27, 2028.
No, you didn't understand my question. My question is cocoa trade, farmers also mudia cocoa now ready. E was say aban cotton or cotton e wodwaman so. O the world market price na that particular value chain, picking the cocoa from the farmer, going to sell on the world market, and no any cocoa board car at that one. What is the linkage?
Yeah, are now on analysis. Analysis. I wanted to link it into analysis. You have to include it in the pricing.
Okay, the link.
And you have to take a decision so that you don't incur more debt.
Very well. Link.
You understand? So, sir, a cano 32.9 billion Ghana cedi.
Yes.
Out of which about 26 billion cocoa contracts. The obligations for the government last year, 4 billion. This year there's another obligation that we have to pay to cocoa bills for it's due. So I just say, and no you can. And no kodan chaya, so dubious cocoa contracts now must sign $2,600 per ton. A brana adene ton $10,000. Ama me no ka say cocoa me
it may not be a dubious
it is dubious. Masa, it is not risk, it is dubious. Really? Why? At the end of that 10,000, no one can sign at the end of that 10,000 now when you get say that 10,000, what's sign 2,600? Who's in your dubious?
But
why are you doing this?
Who in his right senses will sign?
Why are you infuriating the conscience of the people? Why are you doing that? At the end of 10,000.
At the time they were signing the forward sale contract, now at that 10,000.
Oh yes, when they signed the 2024 contract, yes. It was 10,000.
At the time they were signing.
In fact, the worst
up to 10,000.
At the time they were signing the contract, the worst price was $9,600.
Now what my price mean?
Yes, no, but why? Every day it shifts. But at the time they were signing, within that period, the worst price was 9,600. It's the upper quarter for analysis purposes. You have 9,600 punye. Will you sell your father's property to anybody for 2,600 when it is being sold for 9,600? Will you do that?
But that one will not even make sense. Why
exactly. Hallelujah. That's what I want you to tell NPP. You see, it just simply didn't make sense unless somebody was motivated with an interest. It simply doesn't make sense. So 2,600 not ton, you know. Or sign 780,000 metric tons for 2,600 because Okoka almost say 2024 no Ghana be produce 800,000 metric tons. It's in the mid 780,000 babe mau 2,600. What do you tell ye? 2,600 at 780,000. And anyame nche adie afeno cocoa I produce ye nyina na me catch from the beginning no.
Yeah.
Over is in actual wise about 360,000. You understand? But more announced 433,000. But obviously, because almost supply 433,000 and can cut 333,000. You understand? Out of the amount that I've mentioned. It is at 333,000 no muja no. One more do schedule 2,600. See a yen and this ya buying and around the abe cocoa board. Yen kwa koto cocoa no 7,200. Niya yako agaman so edi akoma nkrofo no at 2,600 because it's due we have to supply. Ya supply mu 240,000 metric tons. So 240,000 metric tons no we have lost almost $150 million from that trade alone. O convert $150 million ko Ghana sikema at a rate of 10.5. O the amount in 11. Ona the audio fan say e 10 kra e how much are you getting? Almost 1.5 billion Ghana cedi.
But would roll over.
You have lost no tobo analysis no one to wow. Your post so na me friend wife ebusa no me sure say onum kwan wo jade pa wo fufu na wo hwe kwan. Na me tirem ko. Eti sa loss no on that trading alone was made last year. Who pays for that? Government. We share trading in kwa the nominal loss na ma but the real loss is what we call the opportunity cost. Opportunity cost ya here nka obenya se nka wo de sa cocoa no call sporter because last year you turn the sport. You decided to be turn the sport because the problem to bo metra me call be yeah turn the sport. It's an opportunity cost and say thank you the sa 240,000 metric tons no eko dwaman so koton ya nkebenya $941 million, which is roughly $1 billion, which in equivalent terms will be about 11 billion Ghana cedi. Na kaya debt no debt exchange no 10 billion but we have rather made a loss in addition because of the criminal decision of the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government.
That's fine.
And no koda nche ya to me see you me see ye. And no koda nche ya cocoa board use kotokuo. And odi aswa ni cocoa and carry ni cocoa. Cocoa kotokuo no and say ya cocoa board ne say said ye yempe Ukraine Russia war be hodi ye kotokuo no wo wiem. Said ye be ye mbe duru Ghana nti no 2 years bia na 3 years bia no ye order na ye bedi be say 3 years na ye de agu ho said ye be within 2 years na order another one it is our final year ni betwa mu no na abeduru na ye de run sa. That's how we have run cocoa board. Are you aware that this criminally minded boy here do ni omo cocoa board road mo no this criminal I think it's criminally minded.
Mind the words you use.
Okay, may you criminally minded no?
That's fine.
But the dangerously minded boy here do ni mkrofo 2021 cocoa sacks or mu import here wo mu bedu omu yiri nyina report no mu di kogu warehouse and almost start this year using kakra 2022 no almost order another batch ebedu Ghana no mu ja port o ntimi ankle 2023 no order another one ebedu port o ntimi ankle 2024 there so wo ankle 4 days to election tiemi ye pa on 4 days to election na ye wie election ye wie na aban ye kono and no letters of credit of $48 million to import another batch of cocoa sack. Meanwhile, 2022 there, 2023 there, 2024 there, ni nyina gu port o yentimi clear. And you know the irony, the shocking irony is that 2021 there na ye begu warehouse no. We mo use no all over the period am aka 91,000 bills. No, so 94,000 bills. Am asa 94,000 bills no. E bi na use no last year. But this year there is enough that we can use. 48 million the any crime beduru here. We have to go and look for money to pay. Senya broni beya. Who would do this to his own country or birth? Wow, my ya wu tumu. I so for many years. With all the crisis, the domestic debt exchange. Now our work out to her. Well, went to me and Pia. I say Pia betu in 2025. Wusa Ekosiisen a dubious forward sales contract. And on you lose almost $1 billion every move. Now we are what's our swag cocoa sacks when you know we go. And he clearing duty crazy to your crown and yadikatwa. Yen calculate ye yen baho uhwe cocoa board books ma for the first time in the history of Ghana. Se uton cocoa board e jopade nyina cocoa house. Wo mu cars Land Cruiser omu yusu pickup omu yusu uto omu cocoa shares nyina wo Ghana nyina na ukaboma which is the total asset value of cocoa board. Now hwe car omu dia e car omu de no e bro sa asset ni nyina by 3.8 billion Ghana cedi. Who does this?
Okay.
Now obi se ube tu we nyina na ese wo deal with na enu nso sika na wo de ye sika na wo de solve sa problem we na wo sa absorb almost 150 million dollars every stress we mu na the analysis you and I did right now ye 580,000 cocoa ayetoye na ye move free 7,200 esa dia kodwama so 4,200 hope you be day.
Okay.
No,
says it's
I want an answer from you. And I mean, between me and you, what you are a potential cocoa boss. You to say Randy not to baby out. Say you walk and out to baby Randy and etina obey a day.
Obey president. I know I am a cocoa.
Say na making.
But my musa question. The me busa say cocoa board debt has been a growing concern. It is not as if say. Since cocoa board was established, debt biya emada until boy here do a free power. Boy here do no hold on. Boy here do tells us in interview I mean na say on also inherited a debt of close to 19 billion. So no inheritance our debt now, and you made an earlier point say now the first 4 years in our man to cocoa boom. I think data production they are sending them 475 is what they met in 2016-2017. They maintained it in 2017-2018, 2018-2019, 2019-2020. Almost about 500.
And no. I'm 2020. Yeah, no, but 2020 no so. Now 2016, but
first 4 years in
Obi now.
First 3 years.
Oh, lawyer. I'm a math teacher. No break a number.
First 3 years, correct. First 4 years, it is wrong. But okay, first 4 years. 2020
not also. 2020 to from 2016 to 2020 is it not 4 years?
Okay, first 4 years.
Me say yes, but
and I make sure the first 4 years is not true. First 3 years is true. And let's move on. Me are there. Elective man.
Elective man. Okay, finance for better. What be some question back that?
Okay.
Finance for I bet you say the best way to analyze the financial health of an institution is to use what we call the balance sheet. First of all, ye free abemu no.
Yes.
Your profit margin.
Yes.
Ye jaye. Nay, I think 1.3 billion Ghana cedis.
And we will address the question.
Oh, there Tobo. Oh, there Tobo. Me I say ye obi aboka ni ye boka. Ntino me na me ya no. Ntino you profit.
Okay.
Mama minye analysis bin chiro. Yen free profit and loss yen ko balance sheet. Balance sheet total equity. Ye ja ema NPP for surplus of 1.79 billion Ghana cedi. Total equity wamujaye 3.8 billion Ghana cedi deficit. Zero negative what the cat 3.8 billion. Wamu current liabilities are liquidating liabilities. A car would be as a utiaka. You understand?
Yes.
20.2 billion Ghana cedis. Yeah, liabilities are 1.6 billion. So Osha non-current liabilities. Wamuja 12.3 billion Ghana cedi. Yeah, non-current liabilities. 2.9 billion. Eti current liabilities yet u trade. Inti no sa e kana eso utua. But ohwe assets ne wa ho ode a woni sika wo nyina. E kana wo de no sika ne bro e kana wo de ne so. So ati ase. Eti ne sha oka ye current liabilities ne ye non-current liabilities ne boma 1.6 plus 2.9 billion. Unya bears 3.4 billion. 3.4 billion. That was our total liabilities.
The argument is Cocoa Board na debt be any when boy he took over.
Oh,
that argument?
But before na make na be ma repeat it. Me say current liability or the car.
Okay.
But near the car 1.6.
Okay.
And ye the non-current liabilities and also another car.
Yes.
But no a long term car.
Okay.
And we 2.9 billion.
Okay.
Into Kabuma, 3.4 billion.
Okay.
A car near there.
Okay.
Okay.
When he was taking over.
No, that is 2016.
They take you over.
The famous boy Yedu. Oh, take you over. Not near Wohoni.
Okay.
All free abemuno. The current liability is 20.2 billion cedis. The non-current liability is 12.3 billion cedis. Okaboma 30.5 billion cedis. Shani assets. The assets no 3.8 billion cedis less than 30.2 billion cedis. So this is the record.
Okay.
This is the record. You see, and
only liabilities no was the 1.8 billion syndicated loan. Now Moji in 2016 na eka because he made that point when I interviewed him.
You see,
and the point he made actually, they say, "Sa 1.8 billion na mokoje, you know, muka number of bags tons amode ba beto. Omo buy by December, move free abem omo buy, you know. Now 1.8 billion ni na asa. But na koko amose mo de beto na monto bebre. And no na ma koko bills of Bank of Ghana.
Values na me boy are audited accounts by the Auditor General.
Okay.
These are the values.
Okay.
This is the audited position of Cocoa Board.
As at December 2016.
And a mama we.
That would mean 1.8 billion syndicated loan.
You see, wow, when you,
1.8
one thing that you can do easily when you want to confuse people and you don't want person who didn't drop, you have skipped the issues. Mamao audited account. What they a syndicated loan, unsyndicated loan, whatever. It is inconsequential because it is valued in the total balance sheet. So whether it is part of or not, it's inconsequential for me.
Yeah,
and that is not even the discussion because syndicated loan has been a thing of old.
Yes,
and syndicated loan has really helped Ghana in buying cocoa. One crisis syndicated loan in 2023 proposal somebody called Ghana some cocoa syndicate all was rejected.
Yeah,
all was rejected because Cocoa Board was getting insolvent. So they came to tell us, oh, I feed the young syndicated loan because we are going to use an innovative model to raise funds because we will not go. And I remember shouting on top of the roofs, say it is not because they are making a strategic decision. It's because they've been rejected on the market.
A necessity.
Yes, they have to do. You don't have any choice. And indeed, the worst of it was that they couldn't raise cocoa bills. You couldn't go to the bond market because you are insolvent. Your balance sheet no na
was not looking good.
Balance sheet bank obi aniwa or broker, bond broker or financial broker, an expert financial analyst. I will be advise you say go and buy cocoa bond. So it wouldn't have worked. Okay. Already because we are in the DDEP structure. No, move amount for ako. Do you know that when they did even the DDEP, cocoa bills that they were supposed to pay coupon rates of about 7.5 and 8.5%. Because of DDEP, they have to move the coupon rate to 12.5%.
Okay.
12.5%. You see, this is the mess.
One other argument, Honorable Boahine.
Oh, that can be me drew affect price. No. Okay.
One other argument, and it's when they took over in 2017, there was a drop in the world market price from a little above 3,000 to 1,000 and something. Na ihia sese na e wasan common so tebo ne so ba ban an tebo ne so. How do you respond to that?
It is completely inconsequential.
Adentia.
No, it is inconsequential because at the time model no mu use no, they were not using the model that we are talking about, which is the FOB price. We have indexed our pricing to FOB. But what model were net FOB. It's net FOB no more they are. It is inconsequential because we are telling you say price no a fluctuating. So you must have a flexible pricing regime so that at least if for nothing at all, it works somehow along the curve.
No, but you are speaking English. You are not answering my question. My question then is say, almost you take you over in 2017, like has happened this year. World market price drop.
It's not a question, it's a statement. That's why I'm not answering.
No, meba. Drop.
What catch them say? Drop once a cent. I mean, can them for home?
Almost say once a son they paid.
Why
are you momo the end more drop it price?
Why we are dropping the price? Yes. I have told you that the kind of burden that we have inherited from the reckless mismanagement of Boahine Hedu. Yentimin kase yeja price no. And the drop that we have received is significant, such that the losses are huge. And already a collapse. Akoya se wakonya accident obi near twitwa 9 mienu now mienu account sam mienu eno ana wode ye bibia osimibu afu eyi me hu se we ne muki kame we so muki kame ti ma fase kan me twitwa agu. Will you do that? You are finishing yourself. That's the whole scenario that we are in. When I na twitwa enya wo fault account sam mienu eno ana wode ye bibia wo se eyi emuki kame etini me twitwa no so agu. Then you are committing suicide.
The Cocoa Board you left for them was so good to the extent so even when the price dropped in 2017.
My brother.
Now
numbers no they lie. Cocoa Board's financing was strong. Cocoa Board was doing surpluses of 1.79 billion cedis. You know what it means in 2016? 1.79 billion cedi in 2016 when dollar was 4 cedi. You know what it means? What was Ghana's GDP in 2016?
Is it true that
Obi don't jump that may assembly assess here may papa munati and I make say 1.7 billion cedis excess in Nigeria at a dollar rate of 4 cedis. What do you know what the value of that? That's what we left for them. And they are leaving us a debt of 3.8 billion deficit.
Is it true that when you took over in 2025, Cocoa Board account are now UK? abandoned the Nijamo $500 million was our account. Is that true?
You see, say obi pese order da ona odisiviwa. Ena ensamne ba no tete nchen o se madansi ni wa abrochire we kra po de o mabo abrochire o se na dansi ni wa abrochire enti yenko ne yenkohwe. Sa sika na ewo whatever money that is in Afghanistan or UK or whatever all comes into the balance sheets of Cocoa Board. What you say? It's in your bema picture na kasa no is the balance sheet. And that's what I am showing you. So don't go back to all those things.
I'm only putting before you claims they have made. Okay. So you respond.
Yakase bank abechesi wo de ka 10 million. We see oh me 2 cedi wa account mu. Etu o 2 cedi wa account ma. Na just one de ka 10 billion. Those are the issues. So the issues are that a Canadian decisions no so mo ye ni be a criminal. Ama wo man no enwa kwa ahohiahia ama ye hu hwi a enye yie. 19 samri. Yenjae ento na sauram. Na koko sector no enkrase. E krase wan ye bebo ni din. Your mama time and a cocoa a crashy. It's in the sense in say we have to take one of the boldest decisions. Never in the history of cocoa since the days of Tetekwasi has any government, any institution. Let's go beyond Ghana. I just want you to see the state of the matter. Never in any country that trades cocoa. Our more institutions and managing regulatory cocoa. Do they pay over 90% of the FOB price to the cocoa farmer? Never ever. It be see that.
But government had no option.
But you see,
if government had paid 70%, then you'll be paying farmers about 1,500.
So now you are talking for government. Government has no option.
Yes.
So, government, yes.
I'm just trying to
point out the government has no option. Now I catch the Kriani no team and say government has no option.
In the interview now make us say omono omako school.
All the 100%. How do you 100%? Or no wako school no any issues no. One no na waje agina mu na order there kuafo no.
They explain that to the farmer. No can say the farmers are not ready to let omo dem say e car na etua wo e na ban bia ba bet.
One no wako kache Kriani ni say e car na etua wunie e na John Mahama ate so de ma ofofofo na hwi say ye hwi nko yie ye ndika bia aban absorb hwe enya ono na am responding to no. That was what he was saying. They are not telling the truth to the farmer. So that you and I say you won't hear to Cocoa Board and I'll take a decision. What decision would you have taken? Matters are forecast. Oh, I didn't you are you aware that run the decisions or yenti only out of 580,000 metric tons na eton 240,000 if free mo ebe almost 340,000 meboa sa 340,000 no ebi aka egu bama so ha yentimin ton because price na sesa eti yentimin ton ye kakra na randi koto ye odwama so no what the $3.9 billion and the buyer 8 years Akufo-Addo life obedi president anyone here do etna Cocoa Board woman cocoa beyond 2 billion Ghana. The highest was in 2000 and I think 2001 or so 1 million metric ton. That's the only time government in your contribution of $2 billion. Randy, with all this crisis, has brought in 3.9 billion with all the rollover you could to and in the Akawa stores. And you are telling me what?
Otokunor,
so I work
okay, my memo satisfying now question. Which you move from the onset, sir. About trading now, I buy 2 options: forward sales, spot sales. The last government was heavy on forward sales. Mono take the strategic decisions, more spot sales. It's been said, sir, that decision, because for spot sales, you gauge the market to get price, maximize your benefit. Now, what on? That singular decision, because spot sales, and I create this mess at the government has had to drop cocoa prices to the farmer because when the market was good, into more experts trading, you say it drew bullish when the market was bullish. It drew time a year. Manton, because you were anticipating say besia kosro more and boom a drop away and I mean a bad trading choice on the part of Cocoa Board and government and a respond to that.
Absolutely not.
I didn't
exceedingly defective for anybody to suggest a bad trading choice.
I didn't hear.
It was a trading choice. Yeah.
Yes.
But that trading choice had brought in $3.9 billion US. Ayinya says can it be that?
Yeah, but that trading choice for the first time in our history, cocoa prices has to be dropped in the middle of the
question. I know what to no material in bad trading choice. So out of that choice, we had the liberty to sell only 340,000 metric tons. Me no can say you were about 100,000 metric tons or thereabout. Less granted. 100,000 tons. Yeah. Out of that 349, you turn only 240,000 granted.
Yes.
And at that choice, another 3.9 billion.
Yes.
And as you see, you cocoa ni go and cotton. We have not made loss. We still have the cocoa. And President Mahama Kacha said, Ghana, any Ivory Coast, the whole world, cocoa, you supplying na Ivory Coast, and they produce 65%. The global market for cocoa is $142 billion US. 142 in Ghana GDP compared to cocoa market. And so we are seeing in Ghana and Ivory Coast and you produce 65.
65.
And the value on the market is 142 billion. Ghana and Ivory Coast now less than 2% of that. You know why?
Yes.
Because of reckless trading decisions like the other reason is we are not adding value to gain more, and that is why we get less than 1% of that 142 billion. And so to be able to do that, what do? You add value. And so President Mahama, What was your question?
Hold on.
Trading choice. So I'm telling you why the trading choice that we did is the best.
Going to produce, selling 50% to the local value addition companies, that's a different argument. We'll come there.
It is not a different argument.
Hold on. We'll come there.
It is consequential.
What I'm telling you is, at the start of the crop season, government announced a certain price, 3,600 to the farmer. Middle of the crop season, government has had to come back to announce a reduction to 2,500. It's been argued, that move by government was necessitated because Cocoa Board in their trading decisions, rather than doing forward sales, they decided to go spot. It did not more try airtime here, so many good price. In their weight, and a world market price at Tambo. And they have no option than to reduce prices for the farmer. That's the question I asked.
Okay, Obi, me blackboard one can bear me the mini blackboard. Good trading choice. Any bad trading choice. May say any bad trading choice.
Okay.
And a good trading choice.
Okay.
Because when I had 340 beans to sell, I sold 240,000 of that.
Okay.
To get 3.9 billion. Then I kept the rest of the beans, which means I still hold my property.
Yes.
I have not traded the property.
But you trade. You cannot chew the beans. Okay,
but I will not trade at a worse price.
How?
But I will hold it. And if I'm not getting a good price, I am going to process and add value, so that I would be able to multiply my price by 200%.
But the processing will not be done by Cocoa Board. It will still be so.
But the Ghana government will get over 200% of its earnings on the value of that cocoa. A simple 1 + 1. If we process the beans that I have not sold, Unum say for every ton of cocoa that you sell at the raw beans, when you process, you are able to earn 200% of that. And that is the standard metric you use. So what we are saying is for that cocoa beans that we have not sold as a result of our strategic planning, that cocoa beans, irrespective of anything, is still worth about 200% more if we give to the cocoa processing in Ghana. and they process, sell to the market or sell to the external market. And you tell me this is a.
But if you are familiar, you are familiar with cocoa board, every year, especially during the light crop season, no? So our light crop beans always are sold.
Please. Farmers. Don't let anybody deceive you.
Is that not true?
In the last 6 years, the cocoa processing factories in Ghana, they import their light crop from Ivory Coast, Nigeria,
supplementary to supplement what they get from Ghana. That's the fact. Yes.
Most of the forward sales that we have done in the past 4 years or 5 years, we have logged in the premium cocoa beans, the main crop season, and we have logged in some of the light crop seasons, and we have sent them out.
Yeah, but not
that.
But so
and we know now.
Honorable Dr. Peter Buama Otokunor.
In fact,
aka Vandal Bola.
Powerful. The last 4 years. The last 4 years.
Yes.
All this processing. In fact, 2024. Let me stick to 2024. The data was just released by GSS. 103,000 metric tons of light crop was imported.
Yes. And when you look at
are you aware? Are you aware? CPC. All the other cocoa processing factories, most of the times they work only 4 months and close in the year because they can't get the beans, they can't get the supplies. Do you understand? That is the reality. The light crop do not go to them, and they have to take permission every time to import light crop.
Yes.
And that is making them unproductive. Last time, somebody asked me, he's a journalist, and he said, why is it that cocoa in Ghana is too expensive? Even the golden tree chocolate, King's Bite, and Yamano, Yentiminto. Then I told him that when you are growing too much beans and you are still importing beans to process here, you can't expect the processor to run his overheads above and sell it cheap.
Yes.
Very expensive input cost. So overturn our boarding. But you see, the formula we have brought in right now, process 50% of the total cocoa value.
Yes.
The installed capacity of the processing factories is 400,000 metric tons. They don't do that.
Yes.
None of them they've not done full capacity before.
Yes.
If we are going to give them 400,000 metric tons, it means that globally, the market will short 400,000 metric tons of beans.
Yes.
Do you know the effect on the market? I am a chartered financial analyst, and I do brokerage as well, and I advise people on financial decisions. If I would advise President Mahama to make any decision, it is the best trading decision that we made last year and the decision that we have made this time around. That 400,000 metric tons.
Last year decision, man.
Oh, so now you want to offer buy. Also, your cost spot price. You anchor forward.
Oh, so
okay. That's what I'm referring to. And so the 400,000 metric tons that we have withdrawn from the market, if indeed we are going to keep to this, Obi, we will change the market dynamics on the global international cocoa exchange. Because a shortage of 400,000 metric tons on the cocoa exchange is huge. We'll see what will happen to the prices. It's in Weno. Me, I'm predicting. I'm telling you as an analyst. The price fall is temporary. After the Ghana cocoa farmer baby did. So Ghana cocoa farmer be so ya sino support in this difficult time. You have no idea. Because the Edenene say Yaya say 70% and go below. It's any time. This is now you're taking about affect market. Now market now price 10,000, 11,000, 12,000, 15,000. Cocoa farmer one ebedi.
Mobeto bonema man 70%.
Enye cocoa farmer ebedi.
Ehon bail eko parliament.
Enye krani ne ebedi. Yodom aye bra me ye campaign call ye konkrase kasa ye nyina ne se. Me so minim de kakra me wo no. Me de beboa aban no na aban no amagana fo adi enye sa.
Be no ne if do you as an analyst say
enye if when
o say
when
tobo
as
an analyst no o share crystal ball ni ma ebo no besen akoso
even with the market decisions that we have taken, and I've seen that Ivory Coast is moving closer to us. I mean, Ivory Coast is also converging. If Ivory Coast should decide so Muzu process 50%, the market is done. The market is done. I ran presidential initiatives for the president. One of the projects that I was working on was in cocoa. President said, you can grow 200,000 new hectares of cocoa. And this will be like cocoa.
State-led.
Yes, state-led. And so we are running a youth in cocoa program with Cocoa Board. You develop it. 200,000 hectares in the middle belt of the country. Uti Northern Water is a belt that is not on.
But it's not a major and consequential
initiative. Okay. You need to look at the model first before you read meaning.
No,
before you read into the name.
Say state-led farms. I should be proper family youth.
No, state-led farms will not be functional. And so this is what we have done with that model. We have invited private sector participation.
Okay.
And so the government facilitates private sector driven. So most of the investment will be done by private sector. Okay. Input cost and any money. There are only a few that
provide land.
Yes, and there are only a few that Cocoa Board will do.
Okay.
You understand? Just for also to have a model. You understand?
Okay.
But it is private sector led. But essentially the thing is to address production.
Sure.
Now, if Ivory Coast takes that decision to also process part of their cocoa. Now, yet me expand this scope, now you process a portion of the cocoa. It will change the entire market dynamics completely. Completely. I can tell you on authority, there's one of the biggest cocoa processors in the world that came to Ghana last year. And as if they knew that the dynamics may change under President Mahama because of our campaign. And when they saw the initiative, they said they wanted to be part. Free last year, Omar Dilidalisa, yeah, now so 200 now. When we finish, I'll send you.
2,000,
50%. No?
Yeah.
Now, President call AU, our cocoa said we are processing 50% of your cocoa, and also sending me video. No, say we need to execute this project immediately.
Now. But do
you
see, also agree
the market is going to respond, and they will respond very fast.
I get you.
And this is what is going to happen. You will see that the market will now move into Ghana for the processing in Ghana.
Yeah.
Now, when they move to Ghana to process, jobs, Abba.
But some of them
the
are
real value.
Here.
No, the real value and so Abba. Some of them are already here. And so you see, it takes tact.
Yeah, but
it takes a lot to make this board.
What I am asking is, at the time Cocoa Board announced prices last year, September, Finance Minister issued statement etre Nioma Abain and no about even scholarship on person or bar for cocoa farmers and bar any other.
Nowhere in
that statement, or the same we say you be processing 50% ewaha. What it tells everybody listening is the decision to process 50% wahano, a decision that was born out of this crisis. Cabinet emergency meeting and omobe announce it today. That cannot be a reason why price drop no farmers enya. My question was say the decision to do sport and more China and a world market price a drop away no money any other option than to give farmers this price. Respond to that. You've not responded to that.
What a story with that Jenny by sea.
Maintain
you a collab in the course of control exams. Na
Dr. Otokunor.
No Debbie Tobo na ne amana pose a composition never but no better about the journey I made by sea. And okay, and na question I the man no na a journey by air. Ti o dey one or say okay metro. Ti odieti. And I'll say the journey to America was by air. So when the plane flew from Otokunor International Airport,
it passed on the sea.
On top of the sea, the plane developed a fault, and the plane dropped down into the sea. And the rest of the journey was by sea. And now
but you agree, sir?
No,
but you've not answered that question.
I have answered all that question. You are just choosing your own, and you are choosing your own questions and providing your own answer.
Is it true, sir? The decision to wait for a favorable time to sell on spot, and a year trying a price in drop. Is that true?
No, whatever decision, you see, that's why they call them market instruments.
Yes.
So there are instruments that are available for you.
Yes.
Each of the instruments, it has its associated risk.
Yes.
So you must have the risk in mind.
Yes.
That's why in financial analysis, it's called risk mitigation.
Yes.
So you must have the risk in mind and mitigate the risk. And so what I'm telling you is that the risk would have come anyway, because so far as the price was going up, it means that it could come down. And when it comes down, it means that it could go up.
In our case, we were waiting for it to go up and a bar down. So the
senior counsel Obi. Doctor say so what I'm saying is the tools that are on the market, every tool has its own risk. So for every tool that you select at which point in time, you want to maximize your gains.
The gains.
You understand? So when you maximize your gains, that means that there will be times where the risk will hit in. But you must have a mitigating measure. But already in Ghana, ye cocoa issues say cocoa problem. And everybody talks about the problem. But we have not been bold to make that decision, which we know. And look, from 2023, 2024, I've always said there's an irony. The biggest irony in agroeconomic history in the world is cocoa. It's the biggest irony. The irony is that on minor produce less than 2% of it. And every international platform that I've stood on to speak about agriculture, I have mentioned this. But that means that we know the problem. But what's the solution?
The problem is to add value.
The solution is we know. So you see, it's a mitigating tool that was hanging that nobody had deployed. And so if you deploy the spot price and you now see that Trinity, you must deploy your mitigation tools. One of whom is the 50% that we have decided. Because again, if you are the biggest producer, you should control the market. If you are the biggest producer, you should control the market. And that's what everybody does. Commodity trade.
With what has happened this year, would you still advise Cocoa Board?
Readily.
Say cost still with sports price.
Oh, no,
sports sales.
But why? Say you previous as you you. Na adie na drop it. And then when we say free last week, crab baby do 3,600. Wo kwa kotono sport price. Adie na ko. So what you do is that you must hedge. That's why in risk mitigation we call hedging. Hedging is not forward sales.
Hedging is a form of hedging. Forward sales is a form.
Well, it's a form of hedging, but but that's not the hedge. You are not doing forward sales, so you hold. You understand? You hold a commodity and be reading the market. Then you drop it in so that you see if you can control the market. Market will pick up. Then you go in there. You understand? And so there are multiple tools that can be deployed, multiple risk mitigation measures that can be deployed. Essentially, commodity ye di nyina ne ye ka nyina ne se akuafo no yesere omo ambrase mu. Omo nti ase ma ye se sa mre yi ade na ya ye no ya ye in their interest so that they can gain more than whatever they have earned in the history of cocoa. Because now, these are the things that you will go in. Indeed, if we are able to hold 50% of our beans, we can set our own price for the farmer. We can set our own price, and we may not even be able.
The one you sell locally. No?
Yes, you can set your own price because now you are controlling the market, and market determines the price, demand and supply. You understand? And so you need to understand these things to be able to make an efficient decision, and that is what we have done. So mutie miraka boaje mo no randi mo nti adna na wo mo eyebo hwi na mo di o machi
entremu randi na wo kan ye o ka Collins o so amankwanye randi
okay say randi Collins o so amankwane nickname no say randi enye randi abe enye randi abe
mo no obi ankofa wa no ense
we dey why ade nyumre mema oprekonam etino sa mutie ni NPP fo no ye no ne sa ayi frakadam demonstration na omo se omo ye no ayi Poland omo ne nam a omo se omo ye demonstration ne mana they will lose something very important that they are going to get for their families and for their future for the first time obi hwe sa bo na ye de aba 2587 even so the goods and yeni now your real analysis I won't say the farmer is better off than when MPP was in power.
Yes.
So MPP has no moral authority. They have no moral room, moral space to do the reckless things that they are doing. In fact, me MPP near, you will not see me anywhere near radio. Me, Otokunor, me MPP near. Some crisis way, and I'll wait for something else to come. The right time that I can make meaningful, sensible analysis. This time, no analysis can be done sensibly to support MPP in this time. Now. Why? Obi, 2,587. Obi a ye business you want your friend input cost. And you want your friend your expenditure. And you want your friend revenue. And you want your friend profit. Near mammy and Sameboa. It revenue no your ton adiana scale binyano. Any input cost near scale be say Edia Coton adiana and I said yes edumano. And our profit yes I would say a cost in the free revenue no man on your profit meboa. Cocoa farmer be our do cocoa and Kufu do not turn fertilizer 700 Ghana cedi. Now auto condemn 80 Ghana cedi. We near for crown and maybe bubble bossy. Condemn fertilizer we use and order don efu. Minim fertilizer here will be used to the 1 acre farm, but maybe analysis be actual. Se cocoa farmer no eto fertilizer baako. No auto condemn box baako 960 Ghana. No the can 700 no where be ahe. Ebe 1,660 Ghana meboa. Very good. Ekufuado President Ekufuado ne ba omiamo e ma no cocoa no bottle baako 3,100. Yemfa ne sesa cocoa farmer no wo de ne cocoa no enso kra enso 81 acre bia no wonya bag baako pewom. So wonya bag baako pewom a na chese afi no kwa ewe ya obetwa 3,100 cedis. Was 1,660 tifuri mu na he aka obi yama me say we dey nyina ye dey buru ye ho. You understand? Aka be 1,440 and 1,340.
Bottom line is a farmer na better off with this.
Eti no profit ni and then your mama say sa fertilizer na wo dey otono or dey ma free. Condemn no now the goof cocoa no so no obespray free. And a President Mahama say sisi a cocoa no dwama so the problems amabubo so nyina enti no what so about 2,587. It is aka we a uboy unya mbobie mu aso aka no ode niam na ebrɛw. It is a revenue na unya no 2,587 no will cost a zero. Or revenue a 2,887 or profit ya Yam fan say Sanya Maya would be do cocoa ni nyina no profit ya 2,587. Na obi pe ebi na ni ase no nti ase ye. Nti no o profit no. Yam fan say
in the Tobo
obi ya tobo you say there be me
some there be so when abekwa
so time no nyina ya odia mi wi a obetimi abusam sa kwese no etu so me mu won fifi a na wa mama sense ho yem fa ne say ya the fertilizer ne breo
yes
ya be spray so but also
okay
because aban de na bia na enye enough wo fo no so it is still ese wo kodwa ma so na wo kotobi sisi a no President Mahama Daruma any economy ne agina yenti fertilizer na ye 300 Ghana cedi wo de kwata 350 Ghana cedi
aye for
4 etu to baako wo de aye sefuo no condemn na ye 80 Ghana no ene condemn na ye 35 Ghana box no ye 420 Ghana eti no so wo de aka ho wo ka bomu a ebe ya ahe 770 Ghana cedi. Yes. Okay, it will cost of production 770 Ghana cedi. Now revenue 2,587 and 770 cost with free ma unya catch me say kweni a wodo enne no MPP aban so no ye better off than Sisia. Catch me.
In the dock.
No, Obi, me no wa.
Jura is
Obi, answer na be busam question.
No, catch farmers.
No, answer na be busam question. Me so no me srew. Wo ye farmer, wo betu so ne ye. Just answer me. O de ye fa no to nchan kuani bia. Kuani kuani bia. Eniama mienu na ode ne koko sika ye.
Ode ye dey.
Ida so ode beto aduane ahwe na busua. Ana say what the ebese na afuo mu meboa A form with the enemy, no. Into young funny say, what they share a bush and be a cannot ye sit dying, and I mean what say food, clothing, and shelter. It's the be to Adriania or the be tartary, no the be a sit dying.
No, the be at all electricity bill, the be a water.
Oh, you're lovely. Yes, this is here. Minimity out the honor about alcohol. Yes, this is here. At the end, say, Adriana no better no Ghana for per more pa.
A more boa for
a more boa. First, near 700 Ghana. Okay. And then more 300, 350. 18 some year. Say offer 2,587.
Yes.
Now what the Kotomoa. And the Kufuado Ebra normal 3,100 no. Now unya emono
5 kg no.
5 kg no unya 4 bags.
Okay.
And then no 25 kg na mede ye no.
Okay.
25 kg.
Okay, the same 5.
The same 5.
Okay.
Akufuado time now unya 4 bags.
Okay.
And then sa sikana yede ma 2,587 no. Ye tuawa se o de kwa kohwe abusu akoto aduane a otomo a obenya 7 bags. Se ye wo a obe chusu 3,100 and also obe chusu 2,850. Enu koda nchen a obi se eyewo
yes
na wuko sidan wato aduane ama wato ntos wa bibia amodidi ni aka obeso odi sidan na obeto cement ni edi sidan anwa de nka obetutu bu ofichire kra na watwa wa blocks cement ebra na Akufo-Addo wo normal 3,100 cement bag no na 120 Ghana. In fact, baby crowd na 130. Me area ho no mo. Tashi number 1 na me ton 130 Ghana.
Okay. Na de hin bia.
I think say omu change sometime Dangote. They never supply gas. They never supply gas. But even they say 120. Na do one at 120.
That's fine.
Sa 3,100 na President Akufo-Addo de ma no. Na ukoto cement a. Usika na kana ukoto cement no benya 25 bags.
Okay.
And then near tia pansam na ajensam na ama buy no aloki awate so no
2,500
na oma 2,500 no ukoto cement na 75 Ghana entini utimi to cement no 34 bags obi ya wo a na obechu so you see until we do the real analysis for the people to understand people like Miracle Abuaje and Poyanomo will deceive everybody and they will get the farmers to lose what is so priceless for them.
Ladies and gentlemen, the farmers should know say 2,500 no papa saying 3,100.
I want them to understand say in real terms nominally the brony free be nominal and real and also they be by net and gross enemy no it's gross and nominal. It's net benefit of the farmer right now.
And no 2,500 better.
Which one roughly is over 50% far better from all the analysis that I've done. Over 50% far better than near NPP for the moment. So in real terms, the farmer is gaining. But you see,
now
I was very excited. I told you Semema Prekonam because Ubusa very wonderful question. Saint you know wako school. Wonim dear teacher ni atro akire na de wa pass exams no wa certificate now wonim sa niam we nyina na ote ase no onchire kuani no order da kuani no eyema no.
Okay, because you know sir you cannot also gaslight kuani no in the won't mean ko chire kuani no de eyema no kuani na nim de eyema no
na muye na ni omu ka chire kuafo no e ka chire kuafo no you can gaslight them so ka chire America mu say they should stop gaslighting the farmer.
Do you think they are?
Yeah.
Are you not rather the one gaslighting
exceedingly
them? But you are telling them.
Explain to me why. Explain to me why.
Times better.
No, I've told you why they are gaslighting them. Tell me why you think I am gaslighting them. What is it?
You are telling them, sir, in real times, no. I was say omoji 2,500. I know you're saying 3,000.
Obi, and now what hey, we pay our wages. And Tony Amado do watch and face, no. So what are you telling me? So what is gaslighting? It is real. It is the net effect of the economy.
That's fine.
You understand? What is gaslighting? Gaslighting is going to lie to the person. So the nominal figures that they are earning is better than the real figures that is benefiting their family.
No, that would be propaganda. Gaslighting is letting the person know, say, what you are feeling.
No, gaslighting, no.
I am telling you what you are feeling.
Gaslighting, that's not the meaning. Go to your dictionary. Gaslighting, near your friend gaslighting, they say, will be ekura crazy.
You are telling the person his reality.
No pajatum now akwaje no agensem. Etini buafu and I would be ka. That's gaslighting. You to go here. Gaslighting in essence. No, gaslighting in first principle is deceiving somebody and adding insult to injury. Basically,
gaslighting is the practice of psychologically manipulating someone that be into questioning their own sanity and their own memory. You are telling the person what he is feeling, rather than the actual feeling or no feeling.
But so what is Miracle doing?
What do you think he's doing?
He's telling them that 3,000 2,500 man yate value so it means nothing. Yes, and I make catch say in real time. Yes, no.
Anytime people are saying
so you are playing psychological game on the farmers. And when him say farmers, no said you play biasa. A bin soon to me immediate analysis. No, so they are psychologically trying to play on their minds. And so they are gaslighting. What I'm telling you is the reality. Uko jamanswa emo ya tona he. Cement ya tona he. Fertilizer ya tona he. Condemn ya tona he. It is their reality. They know. So sometimes if you don't allow some of this truism to go to the farmer will now be susceptible to gaslighting, like the NPP is doing.
Okay.
And that's why I'm in the studio today.
Dr. Peter Boama,
to quench their gaslight.
Oh, way too much. Director Presidential Initiative in Agric and Agribusiness, Office of the President. That's Papa. Why?
Let's have time and discuss Agric broadly.
Let's
look into I want the nation to look into the eyes of President Mahama and see what President Mahama is seeing, so that as a nation we can work together. It's the best way to do policies. Get the people to go with you. If you journey with them, you never get it wrong. If you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together.
People.
So let's find time and have a conversation.
We deal with the presidential initiatives now for how it will benefit the Ghanaian people.